Myanmar was once a country on the path to democracy, but has since become a battleground. Since the 2021 military coup, the nation has been locked in a brutal civil war, pitting the military junta against resistance fighters, ethnic armed groups, and everyday civilians, refusing to surrender their future. But this war didn't start in 2021. For decades, Myanmar's military, the Tatmadaw, has ruled through fear, fighting not just democracy activists, but ethnic groups like the Karen, who have been resisting since the country's independence. Now, the fight has reached every corner of the country. The resistance is stronger than ever, but so is the military's grip. Will Myanmar break free, or will the junta crush the uprising? This is not only the story of Myanmar's war and why it matters, but it's also the story of the Karen state, and how its everlasting battle since 1949 for independence has been going on even now. Since the end of World War II, the people of Karen have wanted independence and autonomy from external powers. From 1949 onward, insurgent groups have been fighting to release themselves from the grip of Burma. These insurgents were called the KNU, the Karen National Union. The KNU have recently been in a coalition with other ethnic groups and Aung San Suu Kyi's party, the NLD, or the National League for Democracy, which supports the formation of a union of federal states within Myanmar. What is vital to know is that it's not just the Karen people that wish for autonomy. There are 135 total different ethnicities within Myanmar, including the Burmese themselves, and a significant amount of them vie for independence, such as the Arakan Army, the Chin National Army, and many more. The political ecosystem of Myanmar gets more complicated the deeper you dive in. To many, Myanmar is just Myanmar, or Burma. Then you look deeper and see all the different ethnic and political armies. These two levels of understanding are very common to see. However, one step further, and the differences between those on the same sides become apparent. Even within the Karen state, there are smaller groups within, calling themselves slightly different names, all with slightly differing opinions. On one end you may have the KNLA, the Karen National Liberation Army, but on the other you have the KDF, the Karen Democratic Front. Now, since the 2021 military coup, the Karen state has become a major battlefield in Myanmar's ongoing civil war. The KNU and the KNLA have intensified their attacks against the Tatmadaw, aligning themselves with pro-democracy resistance groups like the People's Defense Force, the PDF. At the beginning of the coup and the ousting of Aung San Suu Kyi from power, the KNU, the Karen National Union, issued this statement: "We cannot accept the military taking power and detaining the country's leaders. This is a massive obstacle and challenge in transitioning to democracy," and thus intensified the Karen fight for freedom. During this war, alongside many other independent armies and groups, the KNLA, alongside the local People's Defense Force, has been taking control of many military junta-controlled towns and villages. Just in 2024, the encircled border town of Myawaddy, situated between Thailand and Myanmar, was finally taken, only to be the battleground of a fierce fight between Karen forces and military junta forces to recapture the strategic border crossing. And recently, the KNLA, alongside the BPLA, captured a junta camp in the Mon state, with video footage seen here. This is just one piece in the broader war that has been ongoing in the Karen region. One thing to note as we delve a little into the combat taking place is that, similar to the Nazi reprisals against civilians after resistance attacks in World War II, namely but not exclusively in Poland, Russia and France, the Tatmadaw has similarly been undergoing airstrikes and bombing campaigns against civilian targets. Whilst not exclusively set to just civilian targets, it is clear that Tatmadaw aims to commit a terror campaign through aerial bombardment on the people who have wished for autonomy since the creation of Burma. Displacement of civilians is an ongoing issue. As many Karen civilians flee the bombs and the war itself, a new refugee crisis has emerged. Many civilians choose to flee eastward toward the border of Thailand, where refugee efforts are currently taking place. I highly recommend listening to the Inside Myanmar podcast. In episode 301, Sorsha Kerpor gives his personal experience as a refugee before the current ongoing civil war occurred. Now, what does the Karen state actually want? Well, different Karen groups have varying goals, but the Karen National Union is the dominant political organisation representing Karen interests. It either wants autonomy or independence. Historically, the KNU has demanded full independence from the Myanmar state. However, in recent years, with the work done by Aung San Suu Kyi, the KNU has shifted towards a federal government system, where the Karen state has significant autonomy, whilst remaining in Burma proper. How this will happen is unknown, as some Karen factions, particularly hardline KNLA brigades, still push for total secession and the establishment of an independent Karen nation. There is an emphasis on the federalization of Myanmar to achieve peace, and considering the many other ethnic armies, it may not be a terrible idea. The fallout that is possible if there is not significant cooperation between all parties could be massive. It seems one of the only ways to avoid the possibility of intense discord in peace negotiations and the possibility of a renewed war would be to center discussion around decentralization of Myanmar. This sense of nationalism, to keep the people of Karen largely autonomous, seems to come from the treatment given to them by not only the Tatmadaw and the Myanmar military junta, but the Burmese government as a whole during its history. The Karen people have faced decades of oppression, including forced assimilation, destruction of villages, and displacement. The KNU and other Karen groups want to protect the Karen language, culture, and traditions from forced Burmanization policies. They advocate for education in the Karen language and Karen-led governance in their territory. Their drive to keep the Karen culture and people alive is very apparent, with schools teaching both English and Karen as primary languages. The KNU aims to protect its territorial integrity and to repel any attacks from the military junta upon its own land, whilst also striving to reclaim lost land currently occupied by the junta. Due to military offensives, hundreds and thousands of Karen people have fled into Thailand and other regions. Karen leaders want the international community to support refugee repatriation under safe conditions with human rights protections. The KNU and its allies seek justice for war crimes committed against Karen civilians by the Myanmar military. The battle for Karen State is more than just a fight for land. It's a struggle for identity, freedom, and self-determination. As the conflict rages on, the people of Karen State continue to resist, holding on to the hope of a future free from oppression. But the war is far from over. Who will shape the fate of this nation within a nation? And what lies ahead for Myanmar's civil war? If you found this video insightful, make sure to like, share, and subscribe for more in-depth coverage of conflicts around the world. Stay informed, stay aware, and thanks for watching.